Good afternoon. Movie review time. Spiderman, No Way Home, directed by John Watts. What's it like? Is it any good? Should you spend your money? Stick around and you'll find out. Now, as you know, if you've watched any of my movie reviews, I like to go with my son Joel to the movies, and we like to go to the Dulwich Picture House, and that's where we saw Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, normally, my experience of the Dulwich Picture House is a fine one, and I really enjoy going there. But I'm sorry to say the experience this time was not a fine one. And it was a sad, sad disappointment. Not any fault of the Dulwich Picture House, but because I was sitting next to a couple of kids and their parents. And when we got into the cinema, there was a whole bucket of popcorn that one of these kids had spread on the floor. And they left it there, and the family left it there, and the parents did no effort to clear it up. And then throughout the film, these two boys, who were probably, I don't know, about 8, 9, 10, something like that, they did a certain amount of talking through the film, they did a certain amount of eating during the film, they did a certain amount of going out and coming back in again, they did a certain amount of climbing on the seats, they did a certain amount of generally willying about. And can you blame them? Well, not really. I mean, the film is the best part of 2.5 hours long, and who at the age of 8 or 9 has got an attention span that's going to last that long? I mean, I certainly didn't. I bet you didn't either. So there was that, which rather spoilt my enjoyment. Then there was the fact that, I don't know, if a third of the audience were probably on their phones during the film, so the screen, or rather the screens lit up various flashy points of light while you're trying to watch. And there was a young man, young lady, I couldn't tell which, in a grey hoodie, who probably went out of the cinema 7 times. I mean, they must have had a bladder like a peanut, or they were just bored, which, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised. And then they came back in again, so you've got to pull your legs in. Now, the thing about going to the movies, the movies, as I'm sure you know, is a communal experience. You sit there as a group of people and you watch a film. So if you're going to go to the film with your kids who want to dance and sing and talk and throw popcorn on the floor, just please remember that it's not just your outing to the cinema, but you're spoiling the outing of an awful lot of other people. So just, take it from Julian. It's a communal experience. Don't do anything that might upset or annoy your fellow moviegoers. Just sit there, watch the film, enjoy it if you can. Which then brings me to Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, my son Joel told me that there had been 8 Spider-Man films and 11 films altogether in which Spider-Man appears as a character. Now, it strikes me, is that enough Spider-Man films? I mean, what's coming next? Spider-Man, the difficult second album? Spider-Man, the wilderness years? Spider-Man, my part in Hitler's downfall? Spider-Man takes a dump? I mean, Spider-Man, you can have too much of an iconic character. And, I mean, Joel tells me it's a franchise, and it is a franchise. But it's, and what is a franchise? A franchise is a thing that's designed to make money. Now, I know that all films are designed to make money, but you can do it with a certain lack of cynicism about it. There's just the cynicism of this film really rather got to me. Now, I'll try and explain it to you. I've watched a few of the Spider-Man films, and I've enjoyed a few of the Spider-Man films. This one, well, the plot is difficult to follow. It probably means more to you because you probably watch them in series and so you understand what's going on. But Spider-Man, for various reasons, is caught up in a universe, and he encounters a wizard played by Benedict Cumberbatch who's called Steve Strange, oddly enough. Now, Steve Strange was a kind of 80s new romantic not a pop star. He never really quite made it. So why Benedict Cumberbatch, or rather the character's name is Steve Strange, is anybody's guess. Anyway, Spider-Man encounters Steve Strange I think I was asleep for the bit, so I don't actually know where that bit fitted in. And because of a series of unfortunate events, it opens a portal into another universe, and that brings back certain baddies from previous films. So they find a way to shoehorn these baddies, including Dr. Ock, the guy with the octopus arms, and is it Electro, who's a kind of electrical guy, and then there's the Green Goblin, played by Willem Dafoe, as Dr. Ock, incidentally, is played by Alfred Molina, the same original actors, and Jamie Foxx plays Electro, and he was probably one of the original actors as well. So they find a way to bring these characters back into a battle with Spider-Man, and he then has to send them back again. Now, the big kind of reveal, or the big trick of the film, is not only are these villains brought back, but two previous Spider-Men are brought back as well. And that is Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, who both appear as Spider-Man from different universes. Okay, so that's why you can have three Spider-Men together. And I must say, I thought that bit actually was quite cleverly done. And because I'd seen the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire and the other original Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, which I quite enjoyed, incidentally, I thought that went quite well. But this particular Spider-Man, and this Spider-Man is played by Tom Holland, who has a love interest with a young lady called Zendaya, who also appeared in the recent Dune film, although she didn't have much to do in that film, and frankly she doesn't have much to do in this film either, which is one of the other weaknesses of the film. Now the thing about, of course it ends up the baddies, the Goblin and the Dr. Octopus and then the other Spider-Man, they come back, and then it all ends up in a big battle, and some people live and some people die. But that's not really the point about it. The point about it, and I said this to Joel this morning, I said, the trouble with this Spider-Man film is it's not enough, right? It's not interesting enough. It's not funny enough. It's not exciting enough. The battle scene isn't fearsome enough. The various things that happen, they're just not enough. The whole film is just a bit meh. It's all right, it's okay, but it's just not enough. Now, you're going to say, quite rightly, by the way, you're going to say, look, Julian, this film is not designed for 65-year-old, cynical, recently retired men, all right? It's designed for kids. And I would say, yep, fair point. But whereas the other films, like the Tobey Maguire film and the Andrew Garfield film, which, yeah, they're kids' films, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them as an adult. But this film, to me, is a children's film. And if you've got children, or if you are a child, then go and see this film, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But for me, I thought, why am I watching this? I fell asleep in a bit. So I kind of missed. Did I miss the exciting bit? Maybe I missed the jokes. I don't know. But it ends with a battle scene. It always ends with a battle scene. And usually these battle scenes are too long. And I didn't feel that this battle scene went on for too long. It takes place on the Statue of Liberty, for Christ's sakes. Come on. Is there no other statue in America? Is there no other statue in New York that they could use? Does it always have to be the Statue of Liberty? Isn't there a statue of, I don't know, is there a statue of Bruce Springsteen they could fight on? Is there a statue of, I don't know, Marilyn Monroe? Giant statue of Marilyn Monroe they could have a big battle scene on? Why does it have to be the Statue of Liberty? And it's not a very good Statue of Liberty. It's well done. It's effective CGI, but it's just, the battle scene is just meh. And one of the points, again, Joel pointed this out to me, of course, because all the three Spider-Men are wearing basically the same costume. During this battle scene, you can't really work out which one is being subject to this punch, or which one is being subject to that punch, or which one is doing this, or which one is doing that, and so on and so forth. So it all gets a little bit confusing. And there's a couple of other villains in it. There's one who's kind of made of dust or mud, something like that. And there's one that's a kind of lizard as well. But they're not really in it. So they have a kind of fight, and then they both kind of get sent back to their own particular universe. So the trouble with the film is it's just not very good. As I say, if you're a child, if you've got children, you'll probably really enjoy it. But for me, I just didn't really like it very much. And Joel forced me to sit through the best part of an hour and a half of credits, which, you know, you always have to do because there's a couple of extra scenes. And one of the scenes is kind of links to another film in a way that I didn't quite understand. And then I had to sit through the rest of the credits, and then there's a final scene that takes place. And I said to John, I didn't understand that. And he said, well, it's a trailer for another film. And I was like, hang on a minute. I thought it was supposed to be one of these secret cookies or something that they put at the end of the film. And you're telling me it's a trailer for another fucking film, right? And it's Benedict Cumberbatch, right, who plays this wizard, Steve Strange, right? And he meets this woman in a kind of forest, and I didn't know who the woman was. Now Joel knew who the woman was, but I didn't. And she says to him something like, "Have you come to tell me about Westfield?" You see, and Westfield is a shopping centre, a big shopping centre in East London, and there's another one in West London as well. So I appreciate for an American audience, you're going to think, well, what's this about, Westfield? So I said to Joel in the car at the end of it, why are they talking about Westfield? Why is this a trailer for a shopping centre? And he said, it's not Westfield, you idiot. Why can't you listen? It's Westview. Well, I don't know what Westview is. It sounds like a new housing complex, you know, a 3-bedroom duplex apartments with a view of the river and a gym and concierge facilities. But apparently that's not true either. Westview is some kind of secret world like The Sims or something. No, again, you probably know all about this. I don't. All right, I don't understand what Westview is, and you know what? I don't care. And the other thing about this Spider-Man film is I didn't care. Right? I don't care about Peter Parker. I don't care about his girlfriend. I don't care about his Aunt May. I don't care about the fucking Green Goblin and the 8-legged Dr. Octopus played by Alfred Molina in a really silly wig. I mean, it's... Oh, when are they... The franchise, it can run out of steam, can't it? Like Manchester United. I mean, why? You need some new ideas. And Benedict Cumberbatch as a wizard... You know I hate the whole wizard thing, the whole Harry Potter, magic, Gandalf shit. I can't stick it. And I couldn't see why it was needed in this film. And Benedict Cumberbatch, who's got a kind of beard, and then he goes... And then there are spells that are cast, and there are, you know, flashing lights and so forth. No, I can't be doing with this. And of course, Spider-Man's best friend is a kind of dorky Korean lad. And there's one point where they go and see the dorky Korean lad's mother, who of course is a Korean lady who doesn't speak English. So, you know, she says something in Korean and everybody laughs. I mean, it's kind of casual racism that I just don't get it. I really... I didn't like it, actually. I thought it was rubbish. I thought it was a complete waste of time. I saw Dune. I really liked Dune. I saw No Time to Die. I actually really liked it. I thought I'd hate it, but I didn't. I know Dune, there's kind of wizardy stuff going on, but Dune is a spectacle, and it's a brilliant spectacle. And if you want to see an epic spectacle of the cinema, go and see Dune. If you've got a 12-year-old kid and you've got nothing to do this afternoon or tomorrow afternoon, then take him to see Spider-Man. But apart from that, no, don't bother. Thanks for watching. See you next time.